Lights. Almost action. Testing, testing. 2, 2. All right, I think we're good to go. And let us on 3, 2, 1. We're off! G'day! For various reasons, my name's Ttt Jedynak, and I'm the crazy Aussie who helps foot fixers take their skills and expertise to the next level so you can shortcut your path to the leading edge of your profession. I've been a health practitioner, private practice for over 30 years, and as a business owner and operator, I have established multiple centres, mentored hundreds of practitioners in business. I've also had the great privilege of training foot fixers globally for over 22 years. Yeah, I've been around for quite a while. Hey, back in the day, I remember here in South Australia, we were the first state that allowed podiatrists to use local anaesthesia. Before that, I don't know, I guess they used whiskey. Can you imagine working today without being able to have the ability to use local? How times have changed. And now there's this camera and something called the interweb. And here I am reaching out to the global community of foot fixers. So if you're a podiatrist, physio, chiro, osteo, remedial therapist, physical therapist, even a personal trainer, welcome, you're in the right place. In fact, you've made the right decision joining us on this show today because you're going to discover the strategies that I wish I'd known when much earlier in my career. For those of you who've just joined us, I'm Ttt Jedynak, Red Ttt Jed, as it so happens. Red is the new Ted. New bumper sticker? Maybe not. Anyway, thanks for joining me live here in my office for this very, very special edition of Ttt TV. I'm here today to talk about the game-changing discoveries that I've made that have resulted in clinical outcomes that I thought were never possible. A lot of these, in fact, these outcomes have really surprised me over the years because I was told at university that such results were impossible. Hey, look, if you think clinical practice is all about sticking to what you were taught at university, then this show probably isn't for you. However, if you're keen to discover more, then the show is for you. So please stay tuned to the end of the show because I've got a never to be repeated offer that's exclusive for you, our Facebook viewers. Here it is. Can you work out what it is? Those of you who've got a cricket background, it's a pitch. Cricket pitch, with a bit of Hawkeye action here. Oh no, it sounded pretty good in my mind when I thought of that originally. Anyway, what's going to happen is I'm going to try and sell you a great online course that'll save you a huge amount of time and energy and cash. And that's when the pitch comes in. Hey, look, I reckon it's great value. And if you do too, then jump all over it. Today's super duper show is all about... Oh, hang on a sec. I think that was the memo from upper management. No, sorry, wrong one. Today's show is all about orthotic therapy. Yes, orthoses, that one-time exclusive domain of podiatry. Well, not anymore, of course. For years now, orthotic laboratories, they've been investing heavily in educating other professions like physiotherapy, chiropractors, and so that after a weekend seminar, they too can prescribe orthoses and boost the bottom line of those labs. All right, I'm being a little bit facetious here. Look, I know the countless hours that I spent at university trying to grasp the whole field of biomechanics and orthotic therapy. There were definitely some mental gymnastics that happened there, and in fact still does to this very day. Some of my best mates are physios and chiros, and look, I'm in their debt for generously sharing with me strategies that have made a huge difference to the outcomes that I've gotten in my clinics. In the end, it's all about health practitioners learning from each other so that our clients, our patients, get the results that they truly desire. No matter where I am in the world, I always get so many questions about orthotic therapy and how to overcome the frustrations of mixed clinical outcomes. It's really a hot topic that we're going to dive into in today's show. Today is all about giving you the tried and tested best practice protocols that deliver the results your clients, your patients demand of you. Dedicated health practitioners around the world, they're constantly searching for tools in their toolkit to get their orthotic therapy working as efficiently as possible. And that's why I'm here today to talk about the game-changing strategies that made using orthoses easier than I thought ever possible. There's no doubt about it though, orthotic therapy can be a tricky modality to master. I should know, in the early years of my career, I found it tricky to utilize orthotic therapy because there were so many pieces of the puzzle missing from my education. The new root theory was the gold standard. Do you remember this book? When it was launched, 76 or 78, that's when I was a podiatry student. So it was the gold standard. Actually, there weren't any other minerals around, so I guess it was the only standard. Splat, another lead balloon. Oh, Manuel, help me out here. It looks like I'm struggling to keep this show at a high level. Okay. Moving right along. Today's topic is the 5 big balls ups I've made with orthotic therapy and how you can avoid making those same mistakes. Yes, today I'm going to confess my biggest mistakes when it came to using orthotic therapy. If I had $1 for every mistake I'd made in my career, I'd be able to pay off all those legal claims that have been made against me. Do you think I'm kidding? Of course I'm kidding. Just messing with you. Hey, look, when it comes to orthotic therapy, I've had clients who haven't responded at all to my orthotic therapy. I've had clients who've gotten worse. And then there are those clients who got better, but not best. And it's so frustrating when your treatment doesn't get the problem fully resolved. I had some, you'd have to say, massive holes in my education. And it wasn't just because I was a drummer in a band and working as a DJ, TJ the DJ. Hey, that was a name that stuck. Yeah, no wonder I should stick to podiatry. Okay, anyway, when it came to using orthotic therapy, there were missing pieces in the puzzle and the road wasn't always easy. Back in the day before the interweb, getting your hands on information took a lot longer. Most of it came in the form of printed journals. And back then there was a drought, really, when it came to the information. Now with the internet, the opposite is true. There is an absolute flood of information you can get hold of. And it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the information that's out there. If you just, I did this exercise yesterday, if you just Google orthotics for plantar fasciitis, you'll get over 500,000 results. Good luck trying to sort through all of that. So thank you for joining me live today on Facebook. And I'm going to openly talk about some pretty embarrassing moments in my career that I did when it came to using orthotic therapy. I'll also chat about the crucial discoveries I made along the way that were totally game-changing in terms of clinical outcomes, not just for me, but also for my students all around the world, including Brazil and Portugal, and also locally right here in Adelaide. Mark, I heard you were going to show up today. Okay. All right, you're going to leave today's show with at least 5 effective strategies that can improve your clinical outcomes with your orthotic therapy services. If this Triple T show doesn't fast-track your mastery of orthotic therapy, I'll shave off my mo. Oh, haven't got one to shave off. Hey, but, it's not that I'm not capable of growing one. Okay, let's sink our teeth into today's topic, which is to shortcut your journey to mastering the use of orthotic therapy by avoiding the 5 big blunders that I've made. So let's dive into mistake number 1. I have to say I'm pretty embarrassed to say this, but when I was in my university course, I struggled with gait analysis. Now, as you know, gait analysis is a pretty important part of the assessment of our clients, so it'd be a good idea to master this aspect of your assessment, right? Well, I can remember in university lecture, we had this subject walking up and down, probably one of the students, up and down this passage, and he was pointing out all the observations that he was making. And, abductory twist, or, the early heel lift, or all the, whatever things he was listing out. You know what I saw? A person walking up and down the passage that was barefoot and they had 2 feet. I couldn't pick up any of the distinctions that he was referring to. But at least, 2 feet is a good start, right? Anyway, I remember another lecturer in the theory section talking about moments, and the forces and things going on in their moments. And I thought, geez, he must mean movements, surely. I had no idea that the term moment was a physics definition. True story. So get a fair idea of just how basic position I start from. I even remember when I first got tibial range of motion testing. It happened 2 years after graduating, though. I was working with another practitioner, and he did this. I thought, what is that you're doing? So I'm just checking tibial range of motion. And I went, I didn't know that's how you did it. So maybe I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. I suppose that's pretty clear. Anyway, so the number one mistake that I made was not being crystal clear about the top clinical tests I should do before prescribing orthoses. And this is pretty important because those results will influence or dictate your orthotic prescription. I mean, shouldn't they? So, sure, I do a range of motion testing and do a gait analysis, but these were all based on the root theory paradigm. If I look back, and I'm honest with you, I reckon all of my orthotic prescriptions had a remarkable similarity about them. And this raises the question, what are the top clinical tests I should be doing before prescribing orthoses? So I posed that question to some of the brightest biomechanical brains that I could find. And special acknowledgement thanks to Bartold, Kirby, Payne. With their information, I established my top 3 clinical tests to do before prescribing orthoses. Want to know what they are? Oh, great. The first one is actually a series of questions to ask your clients to make sure that you differentially diagnose. Meaning, you've got to exclude all of the systemic or medical conditions that might be causing your client's complaints. I mean, pretty important. Is it a systemic etiology or is it a mechanically based one? Because orthotic therapy is designed for mechanical intervention. It's a mechanical intervention. So, orthotic therapy, in essence, is designed to influence the mechanical compensations of the body. It won't affect the systemic compensations or effects going on. And that's why determining if your client's complaint is mechanical in nature, this is absolutely crucial before you decide on your treatment. Make sense? Great. The second clinical test is the supination resistance test. Now, this test assists you in determining how much force will be required by your orthoses to supinate the foot, which is typically the key goal of orthotic therapy for the pronated foot pattern, isn't it? Now, the third clinical test is the lunge test, because it's been demonstrated to accurately show ankle joint dorsiflexion and ankle stiffness. Now, this is really important because of the effect that ankle restrictions have on the whole kinetic chain. I mean, there's a plethora of evidence demonstrating this. The lunge test was also shown to be a predictor of injury in army recruits, study done by Pope et al. Late 90s, 98 I think it was. It's also, the lunge test is a predictor of football injuries. Gabe et al. In 2004 came to that conclusion. So my big blunder, number one, was not having clear evidence-based clinical tests to help me with my clinical reasoning for prescribing orthoses. All right, my next mistake, big blunder number 2, in regards to orthotic therapy was not having a clear therapeutic strategy to reduce supination resistance. Now, given that the key goal for orthotic therapy is to supinate the foot away from the end range position, I mean, you've got a joint pronating to the end range, this is where the highest stress occurs on the related tissues, the periarticular tissues, the articular tissues themselves, and it's that tissue stress that tends to lead to the injury and symptoms that people experience. So I needed to be clear on what are the factors that are contributing to the supination resistance to get the joints and the structures away from that end point. Make sense? So what are those factors? Okay, well, look, as a oversimplification, but just to get the point clear, if the foot collapses, for example, we say the medial arch, the foot pronates excessively and collapses down this way, and the foot stays functioning in that position, all of the connective tissues will adapt. The ones on the dorsum, they'll tighten up, and the ones underneath, they'll end up stretching out. But it's the tightening of the tissues on the dorsum that when you go to introduce your orthotic intervention to try and resupinate the foot, there'll be resistance from that supinatory force or those supinatory moments due to those connective tissues tightening up. Make sense? Okay, so the problem is if you have this resistance and then you shove in your orthotic devices, they may not be, and likely not to be, as comfortable as they could be as if this resistance was removed and the tissues were able to allow that intervention to resupinate the foot. Lower comfort with your orthotic devices means lower compliance because people won't want to wear them. I had clients come back to me for orthotic checkup and they'd be complaining of discomfort or pressure in the arch, and basically I'd tell them to persevere and suck it up. Maybe not in those exact words, but pretty much just like, well, come on, give it time. It takes time for your body to adapt. How much time, though? Well, anyway, I didn't realize that I could actually help my clients to release those connective tissue restrictions. Never occurred to me. Never got taught that. Releasing these tight tissues would have made those clients' orthoses a lot more comfortable. It would have meant that the orthoses could work more effectively, there was less resistance they were fighting against, and it meant the supination moments from the orthoses would actually be working more effectively too. Make sense? Great. Look, I can't emphasize enough how this realization transformed my orthotic outcomes. By effectively releasing the tight restricted tissues before dispensing the orthotic devices, it made my clients' comfort levels far greater. This resulted in far better compliance rates. Look, I stopped having to say to clients that they needed to persevere with the discomfort, and I didn't have to say that it was this extensive wearing in process. And I certainly didn't have clients coming in with blisters located in their arches. Appreciating supination resistance and what you can do about it is crucial to your orthotic outcomes. So there you have it. That was my big blunder number 2. Not having a clear therapeutic strategy to reduce the supination resistance to my orthotic intervention. And this leads me to my third big balls up. And that was not understanding the 3 phases of soft tissue rehabilitation. Now, let me ask you this. If I ask you to define true healing, how would you do that? What is it? Is it symptomatic relief? Is it restoration of function? Is it return to desired activities? Is it normal test results? These were the answers that I would have given in the past, and perhaps you would have too. But if you were watching yesterday's show on plantar heel pains, you'd have already heard the definition of true healing that I used that was an absolute game changer for me. Understanding what true healing is changed a lot of things. I'll explain that in just a minute. So what is true healing? True healing is when the old damaged cells are replaced with new healthy cells. Does that make sense? The cells in our body, different tissues turn over at different rates. We get a new stomach lining every 7 days. Skeletal muscle tissues take around 10 to 12 days to turn over. Collagenous tissues, and there's a heap of collagenous tissues that we're dealing with as far as foot structure goes. Collagenous tissues take around 6 weeks to turn over. And this was confirmed by Scandinavian studies done where they injected radioisotopes and were able to measure how long it took for those cells to turn over. This understanding, this absolutely transformed my approach, my expectations of what clients could expect as far as treatment results go, and also my education, what I said to clients to inform them about what the treatment plan was going to involve and what their expectations could be. You see, I could educate my clients more effectively. I could clearly articulate to my clients how working with the body, working with Mother Nature and the laws of the cells turning over, how this would help get the best possible outcomes. Let's say a client had damage to a collagenous structure like the plantar fascia or the Achilles tendon. Collagenous cells, they take around 6 weeks to turn over. So their treatment is going to take a minimum of 6 weeks to get resolution. And if it's a bit more of a chronic situation, sometimes it'll take 2 of those 6-week cycles to fully resolve, making it 12 weeks. I tell clients that they'd often most likely feel better before the end of those cycles, but to get full resolution of the problem for the best long-term result, the length of time is probably going to be that 6 weeks or 12-week period of time because of the cellular turnover rate. Remember, this is true healing, not just symptomatic relief. Okay, so let's quickly recap. So far, I've confessed how I didn't use good evidence-based clinical tests before prescribing orthoses. Also didn't have a clear therapeutic strategy to reduce supination resistance when it came to implementing orthotic therapy. And I didn't understand the physiology of soft tissue healing. Shit, it's amazing my orthotics helped anyone, isn't it? But wait, it gets worse. I need a drink. My university training pretty much left me with the idea that orthotic therapy was the silver bullet. Like it's kind of the panacea for all MSK conditions of the lower limb. We weren't exposed to, let alone trained in, any other MSK therapies, like needling, laser, mobilization, fascial release work, none of that. Most of it was considered almost witchcraft or voodoo. Now this is in the 70s and 80s, and I know things have changed now, but I can remember when I first heard the term trigger point therapy. I thought that was something they might do in Texas. I'd never heard of it. Sorry. Okay. No, look, I think it's important for health practitioners to remember the complexity of the human body usually needs a multidisciplinary approach to get problems resolved. This doesn't necessarily mean having multiple practitioners working together, but it often does mean being equipped or resourced with other tools in your toolkit. The basic complementary option that works brilliantly with orthotic therapy is exercise therapy. But I didn't get taught a single thing about combining exercises with orthotic therapy in my undergraduate training. When I eventually understood the 3 phases of soft tissue rehab, that stretch, strengthen, and stabilize, those phases and the importance of doing them in that order, plus appreciating the physiological time that it takes for different cells to repair and tissues to repair, then all I needed to do was combine evidence-based treatment plans with my orthotic therapy for gangbuster outcomes. Now, while that made good rational sense, putting it all together took some trial and quite a few errors, let me tell you. Okay, so eventually I refined exercise plans that combined specifically with orthotic therapy. And you know what happened? Well, it's anecdotal observation, but clients reported improved comfort with their orthotic therapy. More comfort meant more compliance. Better compliance meant better results. Better results meant raving fans. Now, I heard so many great reports from clients, and I noticed that we were changing what we were doing with our orthotic devices in that we didn't have to do so many modifications to accommodate the devices. So what we ended up doing was an in-house study over a 24-month period of time, so over 2 years, and we used the Foot Health Status Questionnaire. So this is a recognised, acknowledged, reliable way to get subjective feedback from a client as to how their body is rated from a pain symptom, pain and discomfort level, as well as a functional abilities level. So what we did, we had all of our orthotic cases. Before any intervention was provided, before any orthotic therapy was provided, they completed their foot health status questionnaire. At the end of 3 months, so it was 2 of those 6-week cycles, that was the timeline we picked, they would then fill in their foot health status questionnaire again. You get all these numbers and data, you feed it into the computer, and it produces a result. You know what happened? The computer crunched out a 32% improvement in their results in that time. Now, this is pretty surprising due to the success. I was putting down the success to combining the specific exercises with orthotic therapy because it was the new thing that we were doing. That was pretty cool. Now, look, before you go picking apart the methodology of this pilot study, look, I know it's an anecdotal review and we were just trying to quantify what people were reporting to us. The specific intervention of the exercises, it wasn't completely isolated, but you know what? We had fewer complaints, we had fewer orthotic modifications due to comfort reasons, so I was happy with that. Look, I'm the first to admit, I'm a clinician, not a researcher. So take that as you will. Now, for my 5th big blunder. This one came about because I wasn't clear about my biomechanical reasoning. I was speaking recently with respected biomechanics sports medicine expert Simon Barthold, and we were talking about orthotic prescription, and one of the things that absolutely got under his skin is laboratories having the box to tick use lab discretion. Because he went to town. He just basically said that's, if anyone's ticking though that option, they're in deep trouble. Their clients are in deep trouble. But I've probably done that in the past. In the past, not recently. Yeah. Okay. So anyway. From a biomechanical model perspective, I mean, there's root theory I went through when Blake's inverted devices got released. There's Kirby's subtalar joint axis model. There's the spring theory, ring theory. There's biointensegrity. If you go to Craig Payne's excellent biomechanics bootcamp, I think it's cpdacademy.com.au, he's got a list of their. One section of his course is all the biomechanical theories. There were 25 when I counted them up yesterday. Holy moly. Now, I love Craig Payne, don't get me wrong. Man crushers, they're okay, aren't they? Hey, it's just that after 30 years of being a health practitioner, I'm a little over biomechanical theories. And I'm sure Craig would agree. The real question is, how are we supposed to confidently work as practitioners if we haven't got a solid biomechanical working model? Remember, we have to consider all theories, models, because of the complexities and the variability of human bodies. We've got to combine that with clients' histories and their activities. This does make it tough, doesn't it? Then we have to apply these biomechanical theories at the coalface of our clinic. And this is where our clients are counting on us to get it right. Man, that's a tough gig. So it's really important that we take concepts, theories, and somehow turn them into practical, usable strategies for our clients. But of course, this takes time and quite a bit of thinking and experimenting. When you're feeling the pressure to constantly get the best outcomes for your clients, look, if you're anything like me, it kind of ramps up the stress level that you can experience. Eventually, I came up with working models that produced consistent results in my clinics. And I've been teaching these strategies and models for over 22 years now so that other practitioners around the world can benefit. Now, I'm not saying that they're the total answer, but they've certainly helped me get to a standard of clinical results that I'm pretty happy with. So no doubt in the early days of my career, I had some substantial shortcomings in my clinical skill set, particularly when it came to implementing orthotic therapy. That was pretty much due to these 5 big blunders. And they are, to summarise, 1, not having sound clinical tests before prescribing orthoses. 2, not having a clear therapeutic strategy to reduce supination resistance. 3, not understanding the physiology of soft tissue rehabilitation. 4, thinking that orthoses were the silver bullet. And 5, struggling with conflicting biomechanical models and how to apply them in my clinic. Frankly, I can say I felt incompetent, inadequate, and sometimes just plain useless. And that was because of these gaps in my education and people relying on me to give them quality treatment, assessment, and advice. My mission now is to fill in those gaps that you might have in your education. And that's why we've created the Ultimate Orthotic Mastery Module. So, here comes the pitch. Whoa. We want to offer you this mastery module because I know it'll make your clinical life easier. In this mastery module, it's exclusively, the offer is for Facebook viewers. We've put together everything you need to accurately incorporate evidence-based processes with your orthotic therapy. And because it's all online, you can access the information anytime you want to. It's yours forever. The Ultimate Orthotic Mastery module contains the specific top 3 tests to do before prescribing orthoses, so you can confidently reason that orthotic therapy is indicated. It'll ensure your treatment plan is spot on. You've got video clips, you've got written explanations, you've got demonstrations, all covered. In the Mastery module, you'll also receive a full lesson that shows how to reduce the resistance to your supinatory intervention. It's your orthoses. And using this 3-phase plan, so we've got the stretch, strengthen, stabilize sections here. We've got week 1, week 2 as far as, and the orthotic benchmarks of doing your assessment, your molds, the scanning, your dispensing, your follow-up appointments, all mapped up. What exercises, what to do, when. Plus you get all the handouts that go with those exercises too. You'll be amazed at the improvements in your orthotic comfort and compliance just doing this alone. In the module, you also receive the detailed lesson on true healing, including all of the references so that you can be confident of your evidence-based benchmarks. This includes the physiological basis of the 3 phases: soft tissue rehab, stretch, strengthen, and stabilize. As a bonus, we've also included the crucial exercise plans for rigid cavus feet. Man, you know how tough they can be. So we've got that mapped out for you. We've got osteoarthritis in the mid-tarsal area. All the details, 3-phase exercises there, and first MP joint problems. Absolutely the key conditions that you get faced with in your clinic that you'll use orthotic therapy with. These work brilliantly to help make your life easier and make things more comfortable and compliant as far as your orthotic intervention goes. We've also included our limited edition links to the video demos of each exercise, so you can see exactly how the exercises need to be performed and how to avoid the classic rookie mistakes. And to make your life even easier, we've included another bonus. This is the limited, exclusively limited for Facebook viewers, and that is the detailed biomechanical models that work in the clinical setting. Clarified in theory, demonstrated in practice. This alone will save you a crop of grey hair. So I just better keep my distance from the camera here. You see, with the online Orthotic Mastery module, you'll be able to assess, diagnose, and utilize orthotic therapy with ease. You won't be left wondering, what's going on, or what do I do now for this client? Sure, you could spend hours surfing through YouTube clips and reference articles and trying to figure all this stuff out for yourself. Then you'll need to work out how do you incorporate it into your clinical practice. Don't sweat it. it's all been done for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The retail fee for our Ultimate Orthotic Mastery module is $238. Now, I'm not going to charge you $238, but if I did, would it be worth it to have a surefire clinical process for biomechanical and orthotic cases? If all this online mastery module did was help you to easily educate and treat every orthotic case that came to you, would it be worth it? If you had a totally mapped out step-by-step guide for assessing, diagnosing and implementing orthotic therapy, and you could do that confidently and with ease, what would that be worth to you? Look, you've seen, we've got it retail $238. Heck, even at $150, which is what we've been selling it for in our workshops, it's a great deal. But because of here in Australia, we've got the end of financial year madness that's going on, a bit like I think it's Black Friday in the US and or Boxing Day type of sales. So it's happening in Australia, and because of that, and the fact that you're still here watching, tells me you want to improve or make your orthotic therapy work easier. So we're going to give you a very special, once in a lifetime Facebook offer. And what that offer will do is save you $171. You can have the whole online the Ultimate Orthotic Mastery module for only $67. And better news, once you purchase the module, it's yours forever. You can access the module whenever you like, however many times you like. Any updates that happen will also be included into the module and no extra charge for you, all yours. All you have to do is click the link in the comment box below if you're watching this live, or if this is a replay, up above me, the link will be there. To get this exclusive deal, you got to enter in a special code. It's a coupon code. What that coupon code is this: Orthotic FB deal, all uppercase. And what you need to do is insert that code in. So when you get to the sales page, it looks like this, and you'll see down here, there's a coupon code box. You enter the code here, and then the price up here automatically adapts and adjusts to the $67. Then you enter in your details, and it's yours. The host platform sends you the login links, and you just log in and get to work and have fun straight away. So right now, you have two choices. One, you could do nothing. And if you do nothing with the information that you've learned over the last half hour, what do you get? Nothing. Or you could take a leap of faith and give it a shot. Heck, for just less than a single consult fee, you can check it all out. The good news is we provide a 100% money back guarantee. If you try everything out and you can't assess, diagnose and implement orthotic therapy more easily, then we'll give you your money back, no worries. Crikey, all you have to do is help one orthotic case and you've got your money's worth. Is there a better deal than that? But you've got to be quick. This exclusive Facebook deal ends at the end of our Australian financial year. So that's Friday, June 30th, midnight. After June 30th, the retail price, $238, that will apply. So at the end of this Facebook Live show, you'll see the link for the Ultimate Orthotic Mastery module sitting above my head. Oh, it's right there. You'll also see it as soon as this live show's over, you'll see it straight up there. All you have to do is click the link, and when the show's over, you go straight to the sales page. Now, when you then enter this code, Orthotic Facebook deal, you're golden. If you want to jump on this exclusive, never to be repeated deal, you can also click the link in the comments box down below me. Okay, remember the discount code is Orthotic Facebook deal. And I want to make sure that you get to save yourself $171. And here in Australia, you purchase before June the 30th, you can claim it as a tax deduction this financial year. Good deal there. Okay, so look, now that you're already here online looking for ways to improve your orthotic outcomes, just click the link, snap up this financial deal for only $67. Say goodbye to those frustrating orthotic cases once and for all. Look, I really look forward to hearing about your orthotic cases. I want to say thank you very much for sharing this time with me. Please extend some love hearts as well for a big thanks to Dr. Lil, my partner in crime, who has worked dramatically behind the scenes to bring all of this together. So thank you, Lil. Thank you all to this global foot fixing community. Really appreciate you being here today. I trust it's been a useful session for you. Until next time, jump on the Ultimate Orthotic Mastery module, turn your clients into raving fans, and fix more feet today.